to go and put a bid in on the casino because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace, and then he had an ex-federal informant and mob ties down there trying to put a bid on a casino to bring it to Broadway.
Today, Wednesday, a state board rejected the Times Square casino bid from Jay-Z in Roc Nation and those companies that I mentioned.
The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again.
They're calling it the billion-dollar betrayal. But remember, this is what's being whispered, not confirmed. Overnight, rumor mills exploded with talk that Jay-Z is fuming after a stunning twist in New York's casino sweepstakes. And the name on everyone's lips is Nas. Fans are shocked, timelines are melting, and insiders claim emotions ran high in closed-door calls as two hip-hop giants allegedly found themselves on opposite sides of a $5 billion power play. "You really doing this?" A voice was reportedly heard saying, while another shot back, "It's not personal, it's Queens." That's the chatter.
And again.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Dropping the clues bombs.
That is amazing.
I don't think people understand because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like, they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same, well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas from
business,
Queensbridge
and
Jay from Marcy, and
come on, man.
What they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas with Uber and Ring and
who dating who is cute and who getting tattoos
Jay
who is cute, but God dang,
the liquor brands, Roc Nation,
all of it is nice, though.
management.
All of it, and this is great.
And where they are now in life,
this is gonna be real great, even greater for New York.
And if even half of it is true, the old rivalry just traded studio mics for boardroom glass. Sources say the family was left divided, friends picked sides, and group chats turned into mini war rooms. One camp insists this was strategic. The other calls it a knife in the back wrapped in corporate gloss. And here's the twist people can't stop replaying. The timing, the optics, the borough pride, all lining up like fate or a setup. Did the past finally catch up with the present? Or is this just savvy business dressed in headline drama? Stay with me, because the receipts, alleged as they are, paint a wild picture. They say money changes everything, but when it comes to legends like Jay-Z and Nas, it doesn't just change, it explodes. Insiders claim the first cracks appeared quietly, almost invisibly, during a series of closed-door meetings in Manhattan earlier this year. Jay had been working on something massive, a glitzy Times Square casino project that he believed would redefine New York nightlife. It was supposed to be his crown jewel, a project that would stamp his name not just on music, but on the city itself. Those close to him said he'd been obsessed for months, calling it the next big empire move. The goal was to fuse luxury, entertainment, and hip-hop culture in one neon-drenched statement. But behind the confident smiles, there were whispers that the deal was struggling. 35 sources claim Jay's inner circle started noticing signs of hesitation from potential partners. Reports suggest that city officials were concerned about image conflicts, and rival investors were quietly pulling influence strings. Then came the name that changed everything, Nas. At first, people thought it was just coincidence, another mogul stepping into New York's boom.
Ever.
With their decision, as they obviously voted against the casino.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else.
Casino race. But when Nas's team appeared in the same bidding circle, things got tense fast. Those who know the two say their rivalry might have been dormant for years, but it was never buried. One person close to the scene described it best, saying, "You could feel it in the room." Every time Jay's proposal came up, someone would mention Nas's name, and the air just changed. Rumor has it Jay wasn't happy when he found out Nas had quietly partnered with a Queens-based development group pitching their own casino project. To outsiders, it looked like healthy competition, but inside Jay's camp, it felt like betrayal. He thought Nas would reach out, at least give him a heads up, one associate allegedly said. Instead, he woke up to see Nas's name tied to a $5 billion proposal that practically mirrored his vision. According to insiders, Jay felt blindsided. Some say he even called one of Nas's longtime business advisors, demanding to know why he'd been kept in the dark. "So this is how we doing it now?" Jay reportedly said. "You gonna build your empire on the ashes of mine?" The news hit the entertainment world like lightning. Fans flooded social media, drawing parallels to their old feud, the takeover and Ether Day.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
Ether Days. Posts appeared saying, Jay tried to take Manhattan, Nas took the city. Others called it poetic justice, suggesting Queens had once again outplayed Brooklyn. Memes surfaced comparing business moves to diss tracks. It was chaos online, and behind the scenes, things were reportedly worse. Those close to Jay say he went silent for days, ignoring calls and skipping meetings. Even his partners at Roc Nation were said to be walking on eggshells, but Nas's side tells a different story. A source familiar with his team insists there was no betrayal, just business. Nas didn't set out to compete with Jay, they claimed. He just wanted to bring something home to Queens, something that would make sense for the community. Still, insiders say Nas wasn't exactly surprised when the city rejected Jay's Times Square bid. Some allege he even predicted it privately, telling a friend, "That's not New York's heart anymore. Queens is where the next chapter starts." In the middle of all this tension came a bombshell statement from Queensborough President Donovan Richards. He publicly praised the Queens project, calling it the future, and then, almost casually, threw shade at Jay. "Queens get the money," he said. "Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again." The clip went viral instantly. Fans interpreted it as a deliberate jab, a symbolic reminder that Queens had once again stolen the spotlight from Brooklyn. Online debates exploded, with people arguing whether the rivalry had truly reignited or if it was all exaggerated by the media. Meanwhile, those inside the industry began whispering that Jay was furious behind closed doors.
What was your thoughts when you heard the song?
This motherfucker, he's going crazy. This motherfucker going crazy. Oh, yo.
He was saying put Nas on the record.
Oh, and Jay and Nas were beefing at the time.
Well, he just won. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's right after Ether.
Well, who won that one to you?
Nas won.
Easy. Yeah. Why do we not remember that? Like,
because he just Nas won that battle. It depends
which records we in.
No, that's crazy. It's called Ether and someone for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not called
like Takeover was way harder.
But nobody calls damn, you really took him over.
Yeah,
you ethered him.
That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
You got people there. Look. Who's best is to the actual, the fans' perception of the artist. Because if they're really passionate about you, then you're the best.
He left Rockefeller after that.
Yeah.
He said,
"I rock hoes, y'all rock fellas."
Wait, we rock hoes, y'all rock fellas. And he's like, "I think I gotta buy Def Jam."
That was kind of crazy.
Sources close to the Roc Nation camp said he felt humiliated, not because he lost the bid, but because of how public the loss had become. He built his brand on control, one insider said. Nothing rattles him more than when he can't control the narrative. Apparently, Jay believed someone had leaked internal details of his casino pitch. painting him as out of touch and overly ambitious. Conspiracy theories circulated that Nas's partners might have had a hand in the leaks, though there's no evidence to support that. Still, perception is everything in this world, and perception was turning fast. Interview 5:55 to 6:55. The tension only deepened when Nas released a polished video promoting the Queens Resort concept. In the clip, he spoke about community, opportunity, and legacy. His words felt heartfelt, but to many, they also felt pointed. "The future is not something you wait for," he said. "It's something you build." Social media instantly connected those lines to Jay's failed Manhattan dream. Comments flooded in saying things like, "That's shade in poetry form," and "ether energy all over again." Reports claim Jay watched that clip more than once, a close associate revealed. He didn't say much, but the look on his face said it all. You could tell it got under his skin. Within a week, he reportedly called
how you made this beat. I was at one of those conventions, like a How Can I Be Down or something like that, and I think Nas' album had came out. And every car that was driving by was playing "Whose World Is This?" And and the pianos and the drums and the whole cadence of that record had me like, yo, this is amazing. I want to make a.
He called an emergency meeting with his investment team, determined to find his next big move. One source described the atmosphere as tense, saying, "It wasn't about money anymore. It was about pride." The irony didn't go unnoticed. Two men who once fought for the title of King of New York through lyrics were now battling through business. Nas, calm and deliberate, was building quietly in Queens. Jay, bold and relentless, was plotting a comeback in silence. Fans started referring to it as the Casino War, while industry insiders joked that the next hip-hop documentary would need a finance section. The whispers about betrayal, the timing of the announcements, and the public reactions all collided into a storm that no one could ignore. To casual observers, it might have seemed like coincidence, but to those who remember how personal their past battles were, it looked eerily familiar. One journalist wrote, "History doesn't repeat, it remixes." And right now, this remix sounds a lot like 2001 with a billionaire twist. Still, not everyone in Jay's circle was ready to see it as a loss. A few close confidants reportedly urged him to play it cool. "This ain't over," one of them allegedly told him. "You've been the underdog before. Let him celebrate now. Your move comes later." And if there's one thing everyone agrees on, it's that Jay never forgets. As one insider put it, he might be quiet, but quiet for him means plotting. Interview 837-939. And yet, Nas's calm demeanor only made things worse. He gave a few brief interviews, always respectful, always careful, saying the project was about growth, not competition. But every time his name trended next to Jay's, fans read it differently. Online debates flared again, some defending Nas's intentions, others convinced he'd deliberately stepped into Jay's lane. Still, as the headlines kept rolling, both camps stayed silent. But silence, as history has shown with these two, is never peace. It's just the pause before the next move. The silence that followed wasn't calm. It was loaded. People close to both camps described it as a cold storm, the kind that builds pressure before lightning strikes. Jay-Z didn't make any public statements, but insiders say his team was scrambling behind the scenes to manage the fallout. The narrative online was painting him as the man who finally met his match again, just like the old days when Nas dropped Ether. Memes were spreading faster than press releases, and the internet's verdict was brutal. Nas wins again. For someone as image-conscious as Jay, that kind of public perception hits hard. He'd built his legacy on dominance. Business dominance, cultural dominance, quiet but absolute control. Losing control of the story was not an option. According to one person who allegedly sat in a Roc Nation meeting days after the rejection, Jay barely spoke for the first hour. Then he leaned forward and said, "We're not done. I don't lose in New York." Those words reportedly sent a chill through the room. Sources say he started outlining a new plan, one that had nothing to do with casinos and everything to do with legacy warfare. He wanted something that would make Nas's win look small by comparison. He was thinking long-term, something iconic, one insider claimed. When he takes a hit, he doesn't retaliate with noise, he retaliates with power. Meanwhile, Nas was playing an entirely different game. People from his team say he was unfazed by the chaos online. His focus was on the community meetings, environmental approvals, and local partnerships for the Queen's resort. Still, a few associates admitted he couldn't help but notice the reaction. He saw the memes. He laughed, one source revealed. But he also said, "This ain't about proving anything to him. This is about building something real for us." That line, "for us," started circulating online, with fans interpreting it as a subtle jab at Jay's reputation for high-end, luxury-focused ventures that rarely touch grassroots communities. But then came the leak that reignited everything. A gossip page posted screenshots allegedly showing an internal email thread from a Roc Nation affiliate accusing Nas's team of undermining Jay's credibility with investors. No one could verify if it was real, but that didn't matter. By the time both camps denied involvement, the damage was done. Fans were back in war mode. Timelines turned into lyrical battlegrounds. Every old quote, every past diss was dug up again. One viral post read, "First takeover versus Ether. Now Times Square versus Queens. Some things never change." Interview 1106-1125 insiders say the tension began spilling into their personal circles too. Mutual friends started avoiding events that involved either of them, fearing their presence would spark drama. A well-known music executive described one uncomfortable night at a private gala where both men were expected to appear. They timed their entrances, he said. Jay came early, left just before Nas arrived. It was that tense. Photos from that night shown as smiling with other industry figures, while Jay was nowhere to be found. Fans noticed immediately, sparking rumors that the feud had gone fully cold again. But what really set the fire blazing again was an offhand comment from an old collaborator. During a podcast appearance, the producer said, "Jay probably thought Nas was still that quiet poet. But nah, he's out here making billionaire moves too." Within hours, headlines twisted it into Nas dethrones Jay-Z and billion-dollar power play. It didn't matter if it was true. It was clickbait gold, and it spread like wildfire. Behind the scenes, people close to Jay described a growing frustration. He feels like he can't win publicly right now, one associate confessed. Even when he does something positive, people spin it like he's competing. And that drives him crazy because he's been trying to move beyond the rivalry for years. But fate, or maybe irony, had other plans. Just when things seemed to cool, a video clip surfaced online that changed everything again. During a local Queens event, Nas was seen addressing the crowd saying, "We build from the ground up. We don't need Manhattan's permission." The audience cheered, but within minutes, that quote was trending with headlines claiming Nas had shaded Jay again. Insiders swear it was taken out of context, but fans weren't buying it. People began splicing that line with footage of Jay at Times Square meetings, editing it like a rap battle montage. The internet had turned a business venture into another lyrical war. And just like that, the narrative was alive again. "It's like New York can't breathe without these two at odds," one journalist joked. But others weren't laughing. Some industry insiders worried it was spiraling beyond control. "They're both moguls now," said one anonymous label executive. "They've got brands, shareholders, employees. A public feud like this can mess with billions in business." Rumors started flying that several mutual sponsors had privately reached out to both camps, urging them to issue joint statements calming things down. Neither camp confirmed it, but both remained eerily silent for weeks. Fans began speculating that maybe, just maybe, they were planning a surprise reconciliation move to end the noise once and for all. But those hopes were crushed when Jay was spotted at an exclusive gathering in Los Angeles, where someone reportedly overheard him saying, "I don't owe explanations to anyone, especially not him." Whether true or not, that quote lit up social media again. The emotional toll was starting to show. Insiders from both sides painted a picture of two men who were once rivals, turned reluctant equals, now caught in a loop of pride and history. "They've both matured," said a friend of Nas. But when money, legacy, and old wounds mix, logic disappears. It's not about business anymore. It's about whose name lives longer in the city skyline. As the Queens project moved forward, banners started appearing around the borough. each one bearing the slogan, "The future is ours." Fans claimed it was another subtle dig at Jay's Times Square loss. A local magazine even published a cover with Nas standing beside the renderings of the resort. The headline reading, "Queens gets the last laugh." That issue sold out within hours, and though Jay stayed quiet, sources say he wasn't sitting still. Whispers began that he'd started new talks with private investors overseas for a different kind of project, something even bigger, something that would make headlines the moment it was announced. One insider summed it up perfectly. When he feels cornered, that's when he gets dangerous. Nas might have queens, but Jay still thinks he owns the world. By this point, it wasn't just a business rivalry, it was cultural. Queens was celebrating a victory for the people. Brooklyn was defending its pride. Both men, in their own ways, had become symbols of their boroughs again. New York hadn't seen energy like this since the early 2000s. And if the whispers were true, the next chapter was already being written quietly, in boardrooms and studios alike, where loyalty and legacy were about to collide once more. The calm after the headlines was deceptive. On the surface, it looked like both men had moved on. Nas busy attending groundbreaking ceremonies in Queens. Jay seen courtside at basketball games like nothing happened. But people close to the situation claimed otherwise. Behind those polished smiles, there was tension thick enough to choke on. One insider who'd worked with both teams said, "You could feel the distance grow. It's like every public appearance had a hidden message now." The rivalry had evolved from rap verses to subtle symbolism, outfits, event locations, even who they were seen with. And fans? They were eating it up. Rumors started swirling that Jay had quietly begun scouting land in Brooklyn for a new entertainment complex, something that insiders described as revenge with architecture. The whispers claimed he was in talks with a group of overseas investors to build an arts and culture district that could rival Nas's Queens project. Nothing was confirmed, but a mysterious trademark filing for a project called the Marcy Experience suddenly appeared online. People connected the dots immediately. "It's him," one post read. "He's coming back for the city." Others said it was just speculation, but in the entertainment world, perception becomes truth faster than facts ever can. Meanwhile, Nas's Queens Casino project was gaining traction. Photos of him visiting the site went viral. He wasn't in suits or sunglasses, just jeans, a hoodie, and a smile, shaking hands with locals. That image of humility hit differently. It wasn't about luxury. It was about belonging. Fans started contrasting his approach to Jay's usual sleek business persona. "Nas is building for Queens," one fan commented. "Jay's building for himself." That sentiment spread fast, and within weeks it became the new narrative. Even late-night talk shows joked about it. "Queens gets the people, Brooklyn gets the skyscrapers," one host quipped, drawing laughter and applause. Still, not everyone believed the story was that simple. A well-connected industry figure claimed that Jay had actually reached out privately to Nas, hoping to meet and clear the air before things spiraled. Allegedly, the message never got a reply. Whether Nas ignored it or the request was blocked by layers of management, no one knew. But one thing was certain: the silence hurt more than the casino loss itself. "Jay doesn't get ignored," the insider said flatly. That's the part that stung him. A few weeks later, tabloids ran another bombshell story, citing anonymous sources who claimed Jay confronted a member of Nas's team at a private dinner in Tribeca. According to witnesses, voices were raised. Someone reportedly heard Jay say, "You could have called me. You know what this looks like out there." The exchange didn't escalate further, but it made its way into the rumor mill instantly. By morning, headlines screamed that Jay and Nas were seen arguing in New York over casino betrayal. Both camps denied it, of course, but the damage was already done. Fans believed what they wanted to believe, and the drama only grew. The emotional undercurrent was undeniable. These weren't just businessmen. They were cultural icons whose stories were intertwined with New York's own heartbeat. Every success, every perceived betrayal, rippled through the city like an aftershock. Even mutual acquaintances started feeling the pressure. A well-known DJ admitted that he stopped playing their songs back-to-back at events because the crowd's energy would shift. "The minute I drop ether or take over, people start picking sides again," he said. It's wild how deep this runs. Then came the biggest twist yet. A leaked clip from an unreleased documentary surfaced online, allegedly showing behind-the-scenes footage from the casino bidding process. In the clip, a developer can be heard saying, "Jay's team didn't have the community backing Queens did. That's why they lost." It wasn't a direct insult, but it fueled the narrative that Nas had won because he understood people better. Fans turned it into a rallying cry, tweeting "community over clout" alongside clips of Nas's speeches. Within hours, the hashtag trended worldwide. Sources say that was the breaking point for Jay. A person from his inner circle claimed he slammed his phone down after watching the clip, saying, "They really trying to play me like I don't build for people." From that moment, his focus reportedly shifted. It wasn't just about business anymore. It was about rewriting the story. One insider described him as locked in, spending nights reviewing projects, calling meetings, sketching ideas, determined to come back with something bigger and louder than Queens' $5 billion casino. And in a move no one saw coming, Jay made a rare public appearance at a Brooklyn Youth Initiative event. During his speech, he didn't mention Nas by name, but his words hit like a veiled response. "Don't let anyone tell you your city don't belong to you," he said to the crowd. Sometimes they'll say they're doing it for the people, but the real ones know who's been building since day one. The audience erupted. Clips went viral instantly. The internet split again, half praising his passion, half calling it shade. Nas, on the other hand, responded in the most Nas way possible, quietly, gracefully, and with purpose. He reposted an old photo of himself and his late father, captioning it, "We build where our roots are." No hashtags, no press release, just that one sentence. But it was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. The comment section turned into a debate arena. Some fans said it was a message of peace. Others swore it was a coded reply. The entire situation began to blur the line between reality and performance. Every move felt deliberate, every silence suspicious. Even celebrities started chiming in. Rappers, actors, and influencers posted cryptic tweets adding fuel to the fire. "Real kings don't need casinos to prove they run the city," one wrote. Another said, "Funny how history keeps rhyming." And then there were the fans, the lifeblood of the drama. Online spaces became echo chambers of speculation. Twitter threads dissected every interview, podcast, and lyric from the past decade, looking for clues that this was all premeditated. "Maybe this is their long game?" one viral thread suggested. "They're building tension for a joint announcement." Another user replied, "Nah, this feels too real. Jay's ego and Nas's pride. This is personal." No one knew which version of the story was true. Some insiders hinted that both artists were aware of the public frenzy and might be letting it ride for publicity. After all, controversy sells. Others insisted the tension was genuine and deeper than anyone realized. But one thing everyone agreed on, the city hadn't buzzed like this in years. New York felt alive again, caught between admiration and rivalry, business and brotherhood, empire and legacy. And just when people thought the story had peaked, another unexpected detail emerged. A local journalist claimed that Nas's team had extended an invitation to several high-profile figures for the casino's ceremonial groundbreaking, but Jay's name was not on the list. Whether it was oversight or intentional, nobody knew, but fans saw it as a statement. "If he ain't invited, it's war," one tweet read. "Queens just iced out Brooklyn." Within hours, speculation returned full force. Some swore Jay would make a surprise appearance anyway. Others believed he'd wait, plotting the perfect response. The city held its breath. The rivalry that once fueled hip-hop had now evolved into a billion-dollar chess game, and the next move was coming soon. Interview 17/24/17/31. The day of the Queen's groundbreaking arrived like a movie premiere. Helicopters hovered, cameras flashed, and crowds lined the streets waving banners that read, "The future is ours." Nas walked out in a tailored gray suit, calm as ever, greeting politicians, investors, and local residents like it was just another day. But everyone knew it wasn't. This was the culmination of months of tension, years of legacy, and decades of quiet competition. People whispered that Jay had been invited, but refused to come. Others claimed he never received an invitation at all. Either way, his absence spoke louder than any statement he could have made. When Nas took the stage, the cheers were deafening. Reporters said the energy was electric, almost emotional. "Queens has waited a long time for this," he said into the mic, his voice steady. "We're not just building structures, we're building stories, dreams, and second chances." The crowd erupted again. Cameras panned over the massive digital renderings behind him. Luxury towers, entertainment plazas, and community centers, all wrapped in the glow of a $5 billion vision. For many watching, it was more than an event. It was redemption. But somewhere across the city, far from the flashing lights, Jay was reportedly hosting his own private dinner in Brooklyn. It wasn't publicized, but those who were there described the atmosphere as sharp, focused, and charged with intent. He wasn't bitter, one guest said. He was planning. Between toasts and laughter, there were whispers of a new venture, a partnership that could shift everything once again. Some say he told the room, "They can build casinos. I'll build culture." That line alone became the quote of the night, spreading like wildfire online once it leaked. And then, almost as if fate wanted to keep the fire alive, a reporter asked Nas during a post-event interview what he thought about the comparisons to Jay. Nas smiled, looked straight into the camera, and said, "I respect every builder in this city. But sometimes Queens moves different." That one sentence broke the internet. Within an hour, headlines read, "Nas throws subtle jab at Jay again," while fans debated whether it was shade or confidence. To make things even more intense, Jay's camp allegedly responded privately, telling an outlet off the record, "We don't follow trends. We set the blueprint." No names mentioned, but everyone knew who that was for. No names mentioned, but everyone knew who that was for. Whether that gesture meant peace or just poetic irony, no one could say. But for a brief moment, it softened the edges of the story. Maybe the rivalry wasn't just about ego. Maybe it was about two men who refused to stop building, musically, financially, and historically. Each loss, each win, each quiet move only added another layer to the legend. And so, as Queens celebrated its victory and Brooklyn plotted its next move, New York found itself alive again, pulsing with the same energy that once made it the heart of hip-hop. Two kings, two visions, one city still big enough for both. But only time would tell whose story would echo louder through its streets. And that's where things stand for now. Two icons, two empires, and one city caught between legacy and pride. Fans everywhere are wondering if this is the calm before another storm, or the start of something entirely new. Will Jay's rumored Brooklyn project rewrite the narrative? Or will Nas cement his place as the quiet king who built where it mattered most? Either way, this isn't just about business anymore. It's about history repeating itself in real time, except now the verses are written in concrete, not ink. So what do you think? Is this just business competition that the internet exaggerated into another round of beef? Or are we watching a full-blown rivalry reignite before our eyes? Could the two ever come together again for the culture? Or is that bridge long burned? Drop your thoughts below because I want to know what side you're on. Team Brooklyn or Team Queens? Hit that like button if you've been following this wild saga from the start. Share this video with someone who still remembers the ether days. And make sure you subscribe for more stories where hip-hop, business, and drama collide. Because in this city, nothing stays quiet for long. And the next chapter might already be in motion.